Bam, we're live. Where's my guest? Alexis Raptis, Jorge Fernandez. Oh, there he is. Blake Bilder. There he is. There he is. What's up, dude?
Good morning. How are you?
Good morning. Good to see you.
Good to be seen. How is everything?
Sorry, say that again. You broke up a little bit.
Can you hear me now?
Perfect.
Awesome. I said good to be seen.
Yeah,
How are
totally.
you?
I'm awesome, dude. Living the dream. Stoked to have you here. Stoked to meet you. I'm excited to get to know you today.
The feeling's mutual.
I was nervous. I thought you were going to be in a car driving around town. I watched a lot of your interviews, and the last one I watched yesterday, you were cruising around in a car. I was like, no, please be stationary. Please be stationary.
Yeah. That's like my go-to is to be on the phone and doing and just on the phone while I'm driving, you know?
Yeah. Hey, and sometimes you got to do that just with the complex, busy lifestyle and schedule.
Oh yeah, that's for sure. I know for me, like even Tuesdays, Thursdays. That's why Wednesday was just perfect because Tuesdays, Thursdays, I'm like on the road literally 5:30 in the morning till like 10 at night. It's
Are
crazy.
you going to certain places to train?
Yeah, so 5:30 in the morning, I wake up and then I'm out the door by 6 to get to LA Muay Thai, and I train out there with former four-time world champion Chris Coley.
And when you say LA, where are you referencing? You're not referencing Los Angeles, are you?
Yeah.
Oh, you
Yep.
are. Okay.
Yep.
You're in.
Over in Montebello area.
Okay, you're in Los Angeles.
I'm in Orange County.
Okay.
Yeah.
Are you born and raised in California?
No. I was born and raised in St. Paul, Minnesota.
Okay.
Yep.
Um, I would like to start at the beginning, but I did see something really fun yesterday on the internet. This looks wild. It looks like TMZ. I don't know if this was TMZ or who came out to see you, but it says this is a crazy headline too. It says it says UFC's Blake Bilder beats up normies in wild stunt. Can you
Yeah.
So for people who don't know, Blake's 8-0 as an amateur, 8-1 as a professional fighter. He's no joke. A lot of people believe in Blake. Very dangerous man. And yet these guys, this wasn't one guy. This is a great video, by the way. It's just a whole slew of dudes taking shots from you.
Yeah, it's funny. So my buddy Adrian Verdult, who is at the front right there in the black shirt, he uh he used to do videos for the Nelk Boys,
Okay.
and they bought him like a car and everything. Well, he wanted to venture off and do his own thing, and he invited all these guys who were actually his roommates, which like I have no idea how he does that. But these are his roommates, and he was like, "Hey, my roommates, they're like a rendition of Jackass, and they want to come and do like all the craziest things." He's like, so I'm gonna say that they're going out to eat, that we're gonna go grab uh, lunch, but really, I'm gonna have 5 of these guys do 1 3-minute round with you and see how long they can last.
3
I was like,
minutes is a
all right.
long time for just a regular person.
3 minutes is a long time for a regular person. The longest any of those guys lasted was 1 minute and 47 seconds.
Wow. Okay.
And it's funny because all of them got finished within like 4 seconds of each other.
So if the longest one was 147, it was like 142,
Yeah, it was
145.
143. Yeah, 143, 145, 147, and I think it was 145. It was like all like exactly at the same time.
There was one guy that only lasts. I mean, I know it's an edit, but there was one guy that looks like he only lasts like 3 seconds.
Yeah, he lasted maybe 3 seconds,
Uh,
and that was twice. I knocked that guy out twice, and then he wanted. And then, I mean, This guy was crazy. Yeah.
Were you like, what's going on? Did you feel bad for a second? Like,
Oh yeah, I felt bad after the first guy, and then the second guy. Uh, but the first guy was like swinging on me, so and I had just gotten done sparring 5 minute rounds, and I was like, all right, I have four guys. I have like 4 or 5 guys that I have to spar in a row. I was like, okay, I better conserve my energy a little bit. So the first guy comes up, he's like 6'4", and doesn't know what he's doing, but he's swinging for the hills, and I crack him. I try not to go too hard to the face, but go hard shots. So I was like touching him up a little bit to the face, and boom, hit him with a liver shot, and put him down. Wrestled him a little bit right there, and yeah, just moving around with him, and then I hit him to the liver. They're like, oh, he's had liver flunch, so I hit him with that liver shot, and he was done after that. And then uh, the second guy, I started going a, a little bit harder on, but we're messing around, throwing spinning punches right there. Uh, I busted his nose a little bit, and I started feeling bad. I was like, all right. I'm busting these guys up pretty bad. Like
and
I
you're
was.
and you're basically at this point, especially after that sparring, you're
Deep
seeing
body shot.
you're seeing everything.
Oh yeah, yeah. Especially after the sparring. I just went with a guy who fought for a title for Spar Star as an amateur. My buddy Quest. He came up short, but it was a good fight. It was close, and nobody got finished. It was a decision.
Hey, you know how like you'll hear uh professional baseball players shouldn't swing a wiffle ball bat, or play wiffle ball, it'll throw their timing off. Is there anything like that for you? It's like, hey, you should not be in the ring with people who are so shitty because it could throw your timing off.
Uh, yeah, I've definitely like my coach Flame was like, yeah, he's like, I don't think it's good for us to to spar with guys that are not at our level. It's disrespectful to the sport. But also, it's like
I was just thinking it would throw your timing off. I mean, shit,
it's kind of
everyone
like the
kind of
thing with
wants.
like,
Go ahead.
yeah, it's I don't know. It's like Jake Paul and Logan Paul doing exhibition matches with like Floyd Mayweather and Nate Diaz and people like that. It's like that's the way I see it. It's like for me, it's just like it's fun and games, and then if you have newer guys, uh, as a professional, you can always work on your defense more. I mean, obviously,
Hmm.
like with these guys, they're in there to we're in there to put on a show and kind of get crazy with it. So the third guy, they didn't even really show. I didn't hit him to the face pretty much at all. I just dropped him with a body shot because I was like, oh man. I was like, guys, you kill me. I was like, this is I'm starting to feel bad here. Like I have a conscience, and the fourth guy was crazy. Knocked him out. He woke up and he's like, one more go. He's like, that was nothing. I was like, are you sure? And everybody in my gym is like, dude, don't do it. He's had enough. And and I knock him out again. Yeah, this guy's gangster. I knock him out the second time. Then he wanted to grapple, so we start grappling. I get him in a Von Flu choke, put him out cold. Yeah, yeah,
That's
it goes out.
crazy.
Then he gets up and he goes, I almost had you. He goes, one more. And so that's why we're all looking at each other like, dude, what is wrong with you? And so I
I like it how he
tapped,
taps,
but
but he
he
still
was like,
has to be he still has to be put
yeah,
to sleep.
yeah, and he came back to consciousness like 20 seconds later.
Anyone get ruffled? Anyone get ruffled? Anyone like pissed?
Uh, I, no. They were all really cool. They were all really cool, yeah. And then I think one of the guys at my church actually works for TMZ Sports, and he knows Adrian, and he's like, "Yo, I saw the video that you and Adrian did." He's like, "I work with TMZ." He's like, "I'd like to get an article going." He's like, "We'll think of something," and that's the last time I had talked to him. And so maybe they talked, him and Adrian, and they came up with something, and that was it. But yeah, next thing you know, I got a news article, and I got like my mom and my grandma and a bunch of friends back home sending me the article, and it's it's just fun. It's just funny, you know. I love this stuff. It makes it more exciting.
Hey, what do you think about Keith Thurman and Clarissa Shields? Do you think he's crazy for getting in the ring with her?
Oh yeah, I don't know about that. I don't think that's a good idea. Any guys with girls, like that's the big hang up with like transgender fighters fighting women. It's I I I have a problem with it. It's like if you're transgender, fight a transgender or whatnot, and and there's actually some people in that community that would get mad, but it's like I just don't see any women stepping up to fight Khabib.
Right, right,
You
right,
know?
right. And
Yeah.
Thurman's no joke. It's not like he's okay or he's average or he's good. He's a fucking great fighter.
World class.
Yeah,
Keith Thurman is world class,
yeah.
and he will run through Clarissa Shields.
Right, right.
Run through.
Like you ran through those dudes.
Yeah, like just like that. And that's the difference. That's the difference. It's not close. Like people have no idea, and I I say like if you're doing sports, like I was watching the first hole in one on a par four from a girl in on the LPGA was in like 2016 or 2017. Can't remember, but that's the first one, and it's just different. The power levels, um, the build is different. I don't care if you manipulate your testosterone to whatever degree. There's difference in skeletal muscle mass, and there's just a difference, and you wouldn't have to manipulate it if it wasn't different, right?
Dude,
But yeah,
I couldn't agree with you more.
yeah,
I even will take it as far as like I'm okay with women in men's bathrooms. Men should never go into women's bathrooms. We are different creatures. There's a reason why
yeah,
prisons are full of men. There's a reason why we rob all the banks. There's a reason why we're always caught jacking off in public. I mean, we're different.
yeah,
We're not a we need different rules. It's the reason why our insurance is more. We're different.
yeah,
We're
yeah,
different.
yeah, exactly.
We have some different
It's
agendas.
just yeah, two different agendas, and
Yeah.
and Clarissa Shields, great boxer. My hat's off to her. She's excellent. She's very good at what she does. But I could go in there and beat Clarissa Shields.
Oh well, you
I'm
you
I'm
you are a dangerous man, Mr. Builder.
I'm bold enough to oh well, she's a boxing world champion. Look, I won the Golden Gloves twice. I won the Ringside Worlds. Um, I could beat her.
Hey,
You know,
tell me about what that means. I'll hear that every once in a while. So and so's a Golden Gloves boxer. Can you tell me what that means? What does that mean?
yeah. So there's levels with the Golden Gloves. Like there's I believe they have like the junior Golden Gloves. They have the silver gloves. Silver gloves is like silver gloves is for youth. under 18. And then the Golden Gloves is a tournament that's been around since uh like it's probably like 90 years old right now. I won it in Georgia in 2013, and what you do is you qualify for it with the fight. There wasn't enough fights for a qualifier. Or actually, yeah, it was. The qualifier was the first fight, but I got to buy my first fight in Georgia. Um, so um, so you qualify for the Golden Gloves by fighting in the tournament, and then the first fight that you fight in will for will be for the regional, and then you'll fight for the regional, and then you fight for the state, and when you win the state, then you go up to the next level. So for in Georgia, I didn't have enough fights and I wasn't open. I was considered novice, so that's like typically 0 to 5 fights or 0 to 8 fights. You are a novice, and then once they turn you open, then you can fight. You know, then you can fight guy 0 to novice. You're fighting guys with less than 8 fights. Open, like my first open fight, I fought a 10-time national champion, 360 plus fights. Pull both.
Wow.
Fucking up a weight class at light heavyweight.
That was
Because
in
I
that was
boxed
in
that.
2013 also?
That was in 20. That was in 2017.
That's the second time you won it.
That's the second. That's the second time I won it. Yep.
And you fought a dude who had over 300 fights?
Yeah, pool both. Yep, African fighter, and he was incredible. 10-time national champion at light heavyweight. So that was in 2016, because I just won the Ringside Worlds at 2016. He had just won the Sugarbird Nationals at in 2016, but I won it at middleweight, which is 165. He won it at light heavyweight, which is 178, and they turned me open, and I him, and then they had me do another open fight, and that was only 2 weeks after I won it, and I had just won an MMA fight. My boxing coach, the reason why I did it was I did an MMA fight. My coach wanted to see me out wrestle a wrestler, right? So I out wrestle a wrestler. I don't finish him on purpose. I just wanted to just destroy this guy the whole fight so I could go pro. I was I was how old was I? I was 26 at the time, and I'm like, all right, time to go pro. I turned to my coach after the fight. I go, hey, what do you think? I was like, that guy wrestled his whole entire life. I was like, I just annihilated him. What do you think? Time to go pro? He's like, could have knocked the guy out. And I was like, what? And he's like, yeah, you could have knocked the guy out. And that was for RFA. That was before they merged with Legacy to become LFA. And I was like, okay. So the next morning, I got up early, and I started at this boxing gym called Sir Boxing in St. Paul, and I did a class with him 1-on-1, and hey champ, he's like, you trying to fight in the Ringside World Tournament? I was like yeah. It was like one of my boys back from Rice Street. He had his own gym, Cerise. And I was like, yeah, I'm down. I was like, when is it? And he's like, it's a Tuesday. I'm like, I just fought yesterday. He's like, yeah, it's fine. You ain't got a mark on you. He's like, you trying to do it? I was like, could I get my because you get a USA boxing book that has all your wins, losses, and draws in it. And I was like, could I get my book and get registered in time? He's like, yeah. He's like, we'll get all that handled. I was like, all right. So I fight Friday for RFA. I start up with him Saturday. We train Sunday, Monday. I get all my stuff registered and dialed in on Monday. Tuesday, we're heading out there with the team. Wednesday we're getting settled in and training a little bit, and I weigh in and fight Thursday, Friday, Saturday,
Wow.
and win the tournament Sunday.
Wow.
You fight 4 days in a row. You have to make weight every morning, and so I just fought at 55 because the guy couldn't make weight for the fight. So I fought at 155, so I was already at weight, already in good shape. And so I fought an MMA fight 4 or 5 days later. I fought 4 days in a row to win the ringside worlds in 2016. And then 2 weeks later, I turned open and fought a 10-time national champion. I didn't even hear that when they were naming off they were naming off like this accolade and that accolade. I was like, Jesus, who they got me fighting against? This guy had like leopard print trunks, gladiator trunks, and like he was to this day one of the toughest fights I've ever had in my life. And
So you had 6 fights in
and it
like
was at light.
4 weeks.
Yeah, 5. Yeah, 6 fights, yeah, including that one.
Yeah,
Yep.
that's crazy. Hey, when that happens to you in your career, does that change your confidence too? You're like, well, shit, I guess I'm capable. Like it raises the ceiling for you of what you think you're capable of.
Yeah, I went from 3-0 in boxing to 16 to 2017 when I moved down here to turn pro for MMA. I got 18 fights. Or I'm sorry, not 18. I got 17 fights in a year for boxing.
Wow.
Yeah, because my first loss, I was 33-0 with all my combined records, which I was like super flexing on everybody about, because I was just like, all these guys in Minnesota would talk shit. All these pros would talk shit to me. They're like, "Oh, you're this and that. You say that you're this, but you don't even have that many fights." I'm like, "Look, I'm just starting off." And I was kickboxing at first. So every time I'd win, especially out of state, like all right, we just sent Nebraska home from the Nationals. Like, all right, we just sent Little Rock, Arkansas home. We just sent Vegas home. We just sent, whatever state or country that they were from, because I saw my boy Manny do it back in the day. And so many people talked shit to me, man. And I just like, because I guess I didn't have the accolades yet, didn't have the fights yet, but I believed in myself, and I said that I was going to be in the UFC. I said that I was going to be an undefeated fighter. I said that I would take on whoever, just give me time, and my first loss actually ever was at Nationals, and it was a split decision loss against the guy who went to the finals. I think he lost in the finals by split decision. This uh, black cat from New Jersey, and yeah, I was 33-0 going into that. I just sent Omaha, Nebraska home to start off the National Golden Gloves tournament. So I did a regional qualifier. And so what happened is I did a regional qualifier at light heavyweight. So I beat the 10-time national champion pool both. I had just turned open. They just turned me open. And that was like 2-3 weeks after I had beat uh uh uh, the 10-time national champion pool. I fought Leo Model, this Mexican cat. He was a light heavyweight, so 178, and he was a 3-time Upper Midwest Golden Glove champion. He had been in nationals 3 times and went to the finals like every uh really really good fighter, and I beat him our first fight easily. He didn't even touch me. Like, it was one of the easiest fights I've ever had. The speed difference was out of this world. I was so nervous for that fight, but I beat him easily. Uh, he was the qualifier. I just know I had beat another guy before that. They they put me against like 2 weeks after the pool fight, and then I fought a month later. Yeah, because it was the winter time at that time. And so I beat Leo Medell. Leo Medell, that was his name. Leo Medell. I beat Leo Medell, 3-time Upper Midwest Golden Glove champ at light heavyweight, easily. That was the regional qualifier. And then I think it must have been like January or February.
So the Golden Gloves isn't just one event. You don't just show up and win it. It's like qualify, there's some time, then another event, there's some time, and then there's a finals.
Yeah, yeah,
Okay.
yeah. That's how some of them go. Some of them take it very serious, but some states they don't have enough people, so sometimes you can just go to a Golden Gloves like tournament, get signed up, and away you go.
Like a 4-day event and you get it.
Exactly. So they had a qualifier for us because there was quite a few people in the middleweight, light heavyweight division. So I was fighting people at light heavyweight, but that's because somebody at middleweight would fight me for boxing. So
What's the
everybody said, "Oh,
heaviest you
he's an
fought?
MMA fighter."
What's the heaviest you've ever
Light
fought?
heavyweight,
Which is
light
175?
heavyweight. Yeah,
But
175.
today in the UFC, you
Up to
fight at
up to 170.
145, right?
145. Yep.
Wow. Hey,
Yeah, but boxing, you weigh in the day of.
okay.
Yeah.
Hey, Blake, when did you know, that was there a point in your life where you had this kind of like, realization that you were tough? You're like, "Oh, I'm tough."
When I won the Golden Gloves when I was in Georgia, I
Really,
moved
that
down.
long into your fighting career? It wasn't like before your fighting career that you realized there was like one day some kid in the 4th grade punched you in the face, you're like, "I can take that."
Yeah, it was probably football. Football, the first year of tackle football is they call me the bone crusher, like the
Oh,
bone crusher
jeez.
because I would literally injure a kid like at every practice and every game. Yeah, they had me
Even the
at
guys
the
on your own team, you were that guy. Like, even the guys on your
Yeah,
own
the
team, you were
guys on my
dangerous.
own team. Yeah, because
Yeah.
they would have us run drills. Like they had you run drills. Like there'd be a guy that would have the ball, and you'd be right. There's like two things, and he has to try and get through. And there's two cones right here, two cones right here. He starts off over here, and he has to get through. And I just had good form. So as he's coming through, trying to dodge me, I'd I'd wrap him up and just dump him. And I didn't know, like, I was always rough. Like people always got mad at me at like recess and whatnot because I was always going hard when we would play soccer or basketball or anything. And I don't know. I just always get in trouble for playing rough. Even to this day, some people like don't like going. I mean, I know how to move with people in the gym. So, but I used to injure a lot of guys in the beginning, doing jujitsu. My coach is like, my man, I'm gonna have to add more onto your membership because you're costing me money. I'm like, I'm so sorry, man. Like,
You spoke about a sparring match you had when you showed up at a gym for the first time, and it was with Cheeto, and you guys got at it. Can you tell me about that? With,
yeah,
Marlon?
yeah. So that's when I moved down here from Minnesota. I packed all my stuff up and moved out here when I was 27.
How old are
Uh,
you now?
33.
Okay.
Yep. Yeah, and we were moving around. We were sparring. I was like, I didn't know who he was, um, and oh, and like when I would spar, like I'm smiling, like I'm having fun. I don't know like the level of seriousness going on, and so like I faked. I like smiled and did like an elevator knee, like whoa, ooh, like might have got you. And he took it very personal. And I guess he was like, okay, motherfucker, we're doing this now. You're gonna show the knee, So he took it as disrespectful that I did that to him, and so he told some of the guys. I found out later on. I was like, yo, what happened that day? They're like, oh yeah, Cheeto felt, Fernando Padilla. He was like, yeah, he felt disrespected that you and that, and he said that he was gonna make a statement, and I was like, yeah, fucking he that we finished that round, and then Oyama would call you. He'd be like, all right, Blakey, you and Chito, you guys got 3 5s, go. And
3 5-minute rounds.
Oh, he would make us do sprints on Saturdays and then 8 5-minute rounds, sometimes
Wow.
10 5
Wow.
rounds. We went to, and it's not like it was easy rounds. Like if you got tired,
Yeah.
if you didn't have a gas tank, and we just ran sprints,
Yeah.
like we just ran like 3 miles, and I'm competitive, so I'm the first on like every run, and then we go back and we spar. It was crazy.
And so did you guys get at it pretty good, you and Cheeto?
Yeah. He was definitely getting the better of me back then. Like on standing up, he's a tricky southpaw, and he's light, so he's fast, agile, and Cheeto's got a lot of power for a 35er. He's strong. He's like, like those he's got that skinny, wiry frame. It's just fast and explosive, and he's loose and fluent. So he got me with a couple shots. He was trying to kill me. He had the craziest look in his eye. He was like, he looked at me like, no, this is a fight now. Like I'm coming to kill you, and I'm gonna make an example of you. But I survived that, and I do well with them when I took it to the ground. But my even with like winning like gloves and all that, it was just different because he would set up his kicks really well.
Is the UFC
Cheeto's
just
a great
whole?
fighter.
Is the UFC just is it a whole different level?
Yeah, I think so. It really is, man. I mean, you got the best of the best of the best. Even to earn your key, even for me to get into the UFC, I had to fight the #1 fighter in all of Canada, Alex Morgan.
Yeah, it's wild. Yep, it's wild.
That guy had a win over a UFC fighter already. He had 3 pro titles. I think he just won 2 fights. The guy's a seasoned vet. So me going in there wasn't nothing. People were like, "Oh, that's the #1 fighter." It's like, yeah, dude, we trained from morning till night every single day.
And you were 16-0 in your fighting career, not including boxing, in your mixed martial arts career when you went in. And basically that's what it takes to get in there, right? It's just a bunch of guys with O's. It's a bunch of guys 10-0, 15-0, 20-0. And then you guys are all meeting in this one organization.
Yep.
It's wild.
Yeah, yeah.
Hey.
And to be undefeated in MMA is insanity. It's so hard. So many things that can go wrong.
Do you have a fight scheduled? I lost you, Blake.
Set yet, but yeah, I don't have anything set yet, but I hope to get some news here soon.
And who determines that? Do you tell your agent? Do you tell your agent, "Hey, I want to fight," and then you're basically just hurry up and wait?
Yeah, much. Like I told him, I told Jason, I go, hey, right now I'm putting together a team. I'm finding a wrestling coach. I'm I'm getting my Muay Thai coach dialed in. So give me some time. And then like a day later, he offered me a couple fights, and I told him, hey, like let's focus on October, November. And the reason being is they offered me August 5th and September 23rd. And now I kind of wish I took the September 23rd, because I haven't heard anything yet, but that's okay. I just wanted to make sure that I gave myself the opportunity to work with and and dial in with wrestling coaches and a Muay Thai coach. And look, even if you are like doing it, doesn't mean that it's going to be the right fit. You still have to go and train with them and see if your guys' psychology mixes well. See if they have good intentions for you and you for them. There's a lot of dynamics to it. So turns out like actually one of the MMA coaches that I thought was going to be in my corner ended up parting ways, because of politics with him. And it doesn't mean that he's gone forever, but as of right now, he took a step back. So things like that happen all the time, and I wanted to make sure that when I'm going out there, I don't have, you know, the for my last fight, I had my strength and conditioning coach in there in my corner. Had a guy. I was supposed to have my jiu-jitsu coach, but there was some happened with his schedule that he wasn't able to make it. So I just had like one of my teammates come out with me, and then I had, of course, my boxing coach, my head coach, Flame.
That
But
was the fight with, Kyle Nelson? That's who you had?
yeah, that was the fight with Cal Nelson, and it's just if I had the team that I had now, or even if I was just at the spot that I was at now, I would win that fight. But we don't. I mean, when you're 8-0, you're like, all right, I'm doing pretty good. I'm doing well. And these guys are studying you. These guys are doing more research. These guys are typically fighting full time, and and we learn lessons. And from that fight, I didn't get finished. I lost the decision. There's a lot of people that lost money or a parlay or whatever, so I got a lot of hate mail, a lot of hate messages. But it's part of the game, and it taught me a huge lesson. I mean, I hadn't lost uh since the ringside worlds in 2017.
Mm.
The semifinals. That was my last loss. Was 6 years ago. So for people to tell me like how they feel and all this and say what they say, I just I took it personal at first, because I was down and out, and it's so fresh. It's a fresh wound. But now I'm just focused on getting better. And a loss a loss is a loss, and I've already learned so much from it, and I'm already 10 times the fighter that I was before. You know,
What was like, being a kid, for you? Was being a child easy? Mom and dad at home, loving, or was it a wild ride?
wild, wild, wild ride.
Always? It was from the
Always,
beginning?
always. Yeah, my dad was a really, really bad alcoholic. So,
Mm.
just
What do you
like
mean what
early.
do you mean bad? Like, a lot of us like, the 2 different kinds of alcoholics is there's one that's, like, passes out or is jovial, and then there's the one that hits you? That's the bad one?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, there's quite a few, right? There's like the functional alcoholic, like a dad or a mom or whomever that will drink, but they get all their work done. they still function, but their life is still dysfunctional.
Uh-huh.
Um, and they're able to get away with it for a little while until they don't stop getting away with it because they're drinking all the time. So typically people like that end up getting a DUI, and then stuff like that starts happening. My dad, great guy when he's not drinking, but when he's drinking, man, it's Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. So he was, he he had so many DUIs that he couldn't get a ride to work at the car wash where he worked at, and then my mom would give him rides, and my dad was just a madman, like he was always just in and out of jail, always always trying to shortcut the system, hard worker, but just something inside of him just couldn't sit still, and what like he always had to be doing something crazy, and alcohol played a huge effect on just him, like just being out of his mind. He'd get out of his mind drunk, blackout drunk, and yeah, he was verbally abusive, very physically abusive, and I just remember that at a young age, and then I just remember him just being gone, and that was kind of like the theme growing up. Like he'd just be there, uh, and it was just that ticking time bomb. Like he'd be there, it'd be like maybe a month later that he could hold it together, and then boom, it would blow up, and the whole house is torn apart. My mom's got a black eye or two, and dad's on vacation again,
Like
and
in jail or just on the road at someone's house or kicked out or both?
both, both, like
So
when
living on eggshells. You were basically it was always living on eggshells?
big time, big
Yeah.
time, especially like when I was older, and I friends over, like my dad was just a short fuse, and so he just snapped, and he felt like entitled to his space in the house because he gave a little bit of rent, and then just things would bother him, and they always say like an alcoholic, like that isn't treated as always like restless, irritable, and discontent. And
Mhm.
that's the theme of my dad. He's just like, and he didn't care about going back to jail. He would always say like, hey, I don't care about going back to jail. I like it there. Free meal every day. He's like I get my little cell. He's like, I don't mind it. I like it there. He's like, so you want to send me back? Good. He's like, and he just had jovial
Crazy
mindset
role
about
model, dude. Wow.
about yeah, and he was one of the craziest guys I knew. So I was like, and what he would do is I would see how his mindset would just instill fear in people, and he would be able to have one up on people because of the power that he had, because he could instill that fear in them. That like I'll take this, I'll burn this motherfucker down. I don't care. Like this shit don't bother me. And in a situation that you're supposed to hate, he loved.
Mm, mm.
And
He
then
thrived in it. Wow,
he
good.
thrived in it. You know, send me back. He's like, and I lived in Minnesota, so he'd always talk about how he would get in fights with like Native Americans, and he'd like he showed me how to like throw a punch like through somebody. He's like you don't hit to him, you hit through them, and try and pierce your knuckle into like the back part of like their throat through their head. And he's like, and if you're in a street fight, just grab their head and use the top left side of your forehead and bash their nose to break it. And he's like, and then don't let go of their head. He's like, fucking knee them and dump them into something. He's like, that's what I did in the bathroom in jail. And he's
How
like,
about his dad? Was his dad like that too? Was your
Rich,
grandpa like
my
that?
grandpa. I never met my grandpa, but I guess my grandpa just had a bar. He was the owner of a bar,
Mm.
and I guess their relationship was like he would just toss my dad some money to get away from him. Didn't really want a kid, didn't really want a son, and so he just tossed him some money to get him out the house. I guess my grandpa Rich, I think he was my grandma's, he's a womanizer, and just kind of, she's like zero class, no respect, and your dad loved him, but he did not want anything really to do with your dad. So I think, I can't imagine what it was like for him. That's what I think about. It's like he wasn't the way he was for no reason. He
Right.
was always being missed, and he probably had some daddy issues where he just wanted that attention and that love and affection, like any son would want from their father.
Yeah.
And when he would come back and stay, he'd get out of jail, come stay with me and my my family, like wasn't his, like my family, my older brother, my younger brother, God bless his soul, and my mom. My mom would give him a place to stay, and he and he'd mess it up. He just couldn't do it. Like any sign of just like normal living, just he just couldn't. He's just so wound up. He was institution. He
Where
he
is he now? Where's
he
your
he
dad
had been
now?
that way. I don't know. I think I don't know. I might give him a call today. I have one of his cell phone numbers, but he's always got a new cell phone number. He's always got a new girlfriend. He's always in and out of jail. He almost murdered a guy in his last debacle. It wound him up in prison. He split this dude's head open with a bottle at a
Mm.
bar,
Mm.
broke it and sliced him, and almost killed him. My dad was like, if if uh, if if this guy dies, like that's it. He would have been a lifer, probably. Probably been doing life in prison. But he got a year or two, and I remember I went up to Minnesota, and I was hanging. And I was like, man, I gotta go see him. But if you try and go see somebody in prison, and say prison, you can't. You have to fill out a form, and then it has to get approved, and then you can't even put money on their books, I don't think. And you have to fill out this form. It has to get approved by the state, and then they send it back, and then you have to do this whole thing. Well, his sister, my auntie Jennifer, God bless her soul, um she was like, hey, he's getting out in like the next day or two. And I just bought a flight to Minnesota and get a return flight. So my return flight, I was gonna buy that day, and I was like, yo, I'm gonna wait another day. If he really gets out, I'll go see him. And so I drove 3 hours to go see him and spend some time with him. And yeah, he got out, and it was
Does he drink a second he gets out? Does he go straight to a bar?
not right
No.
away. Not
Mm.
right away. Right away, he's like, oh yeah, that's a thing past. Calls everybody slick. No, slick. That's in the past now.
Mm.
I learned my lesson, and yeah, if that guy would have died, I said, whether this guy lives or dies, that's it for me, slick. Always a lot of promises, but not a lot of follow through.
Blake,
So
where do you get your discipline and focus at from if coming from such a chaotic situation? From watching your I mean, you're clearly crazy disciplined. You have routine, you have habits, you have diet, your physique's crazy. Where
yeah,
do you think you got that from? You think it's because you're scared you don't want to end up like him, or
yeah, yeah, yeah. It was like it was a lot of me, maybe uh I think maybe running away from myself for a little bit, but also running to what I wanted to be. I had a coach recently. He's like, man, I feel like you're doing all these workouts. I feel like you're running from something. I go, you know what, man? Maybe a little bit of it is running from something. I was like, but I feel like for me, I'm running to something. Every
Mm.
time I'm in a training session, I'm running to something. I'm becoming something. Because I didn't know that I had these options growing up. I didn't really play school sports, and then when I tried to play school sports, they wouldn't let me play because I got too many underage drinking tickets. So, I grew up quick when I was
Is,
younger.
is that behind you? Or have you gone like to AA or something? Is the drinking behind you? Like, do you have to
Yeah,
quit that?
yeah, yeah. I go to AA. I go to that. I got a sponsor in the program,
Oh, good for you.
and I do that, because I got those signs and I got those tendencies. It's
Mm,
like I'll become restless, irritable, and discontent, and
mm.
I can be I can't. I don't even have to be drinking, but the thinking, is what's messed up, and it's like a spiritual malady, it's like I try to make sure that when I wake up every day that I thank God, and I don't do this deal perfect, but what it does is it keeps me accountable, and for me, I do the deal, and I've been doing this since I was 16. I was going to meetings, and I went to inpatient, outpatient treatment, and then I went to outpatient, and then after work, I almost died of an overdose, and my mom and my grandma put me in inpatient treatment.
What did you almost overdose on?
I was I had got some coke that night, and then I was like 16, and I got coke, and I did like a little bit of that, and everybody was, oh yeah, when you do that, you could drink a lot, and I was like, oh yeah, so I got the 40s for me and my boys. So we were drinking 211 Steel Reserves. And then this girl had a thing of 99 berries. I didn't know what it was, but I traded her a Steel Reserve for 99 berries, and I remember I chugged like that much of it, and I didn't know that meant it was 99 proof. I didn't even know that.
I've never even
So
heard of that stuff. Sounds
yeah,
crazy.
99 proof alcohol. You drink that much of it. And I was doing that. I was doing a bunch of other stuff, man. It's like anything I could get my hands on, like
How
for
long have you
me,
been sober?
I've been sober for a little bit now. Yeah, I mean, on and off. So, sometimes like I think that I can have a drink and
Right.
whatnot. And it just I'm allergic to it. And people ask me, like, hey, why aren't you having a drink? I'm like, oh no, I'm good. They're like, oh no, you should have one. I'm like, I would, but I'm allergic. They're like, you're allergic? And I'm like, yeah. Every time I do, I break out in handcuffs.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And not necessarily, but I mean, that's what it that's where it leads for guys like me, and you see guys like Mayhem Miller that just got arrested the other day, or other guys that are fighters. Drinking is like the number one thing that just ensures like your career to have crazy mishaps, and put
Dana
you in.
almost had a mishap. Dana almost had a mishap from drinking.
Dana?
Dana
Yeah,
almost had a mishap from drinking.
yeah,
I'm so glad, and he looks great now, doesn't he? He's not all red anymore. He leaned out.
yeah,
I love
man.
Dana White. I was so worried about him uh when he had that mishap. I love the UFC. I love what he brings to the game, but fuck that little thing with his wife, dude. That
Yeah,
would have fucking ended most men. He fucking
and he
yeah,
handled it
that
with,
was alcohol, right? That was alcohol, right, Blake?
of
Yep.
course, it's New Year's Eve. and his wife gave him a little touch, and he gave her a few, and here's the thing, he didn't even go, it wasn't even anything, but it was in public. He did it. He didn't go crazy. And but still, it's the fact that he did that, and he's
And you
held
could
to a higher
clearly see
standard.
she was wasted. She probably didn't even remember.
Oh yeah, of course she doesn't remember, and it's like, and she went at him first, and you could tell he was kind of like, hey, like chill, like
Yeah.
back up,
Yeah.
like get away from me. It doesn't make it right,
Right.
and these things, it's like when you're held to a higher standard, when a lot of people look at you as the man, and we don't behave like this, we things like this, it's tough, man. Like you got to be able to carry that yoke, man, and you got to, you're like a superhero. With great power comes great responsibilities, and I see it as this, man. It's like I need to be the person that I needed growing up. Like I
Mm.
didn't have any, I
Mm.
didn't have
Wow.
any
Wow.
mentors. I didn't have any coaches. I didn't have any guidance. Like my stepdad, Boo, he went on vacation too. Like, Boo ended up, 12 years in the Texas penitentiary,
Your
and
stepdad ended up 12 years in the Texas penitentiary after your dad?
yeah,
Wow. Shit.
yeah. And, my dad, I had just fought my dad for the first time, because he hit my mom and pushed her down when I was 16. And this is right around the time where I had that overdose. And he gets, I hit him. Boo comes out, pushes him out the front door. He comes back in, starts attacking Boo. And then my mom's like, I called the police. My dad dips off on his bike. The police catch him on his bike. He goes off to jail.
Bicycle or
I
motorcycle?
A bicycle, because he
Bi
has too many DUIs, so he can't
Mhm.
drive. And so that's how I get to and from work. And then and then my dad's gone, so now there's like peace in the house. Well, next thing you know, it's like a couple months later, I'm like, yo, where's Boo? Boo don't drive, like Boo don't drive either, like he don't have his license. And my mom's like, oh, we went on vacation. Vacation? Where do you go on vacation to? And she's like, oh, Chicago, because he's from the south side of Chicago. And he's a Blackstone out on the southwest side of Chicago, kind of near like O Block and like Garfield Park. And
What's a Blackstone?
Blackstone is like it's a gang out there. So the
Okay.
Blackstones were originally created because police weren't enforcing laws that were supposed to be enforced, so there wasn't justice in that area. So the Blackstones would unite together and serve as like their own like type of police in that area, because the police weren't doing their jobs and justice wasn't being served, so they took it into their own hands in Chicago. And Boo was a Blackstone, Blackstone, you know, go out here, smash the rock, and yeah, and then eventually, like the play for power and money, it gets corrupted, so you know, being gangster affiliated, his whole entire life, that's all he knew. And he wound up in prison in a Texas penitentiary. I think he got stretched out too, because they said he was only supposed to do 10. It's a federal case.
Wow, and they got affiliated with the Nation of Islam and Muammar Gaddafi. Wow, fuck, that is some gangster shit.
Yeah. Yep. It's crazy. And so we were like the only white people in like the southwest side of Chicago, and Boo's bringing us down there. He's like, hey, what's up, man? He's like, this my son right here, Blake. This is my other son, Nick. This is my other son, Braden. And none of us, my little brother was mixed, but So we had different dads. My older brother and me, same mom, same dad. But he treated us all like his sons, and like at that time, I didn't care that, he was battling drug addiction and whatnot, and he was still deep in like, just doing gangster shit, that's all he knew, and him and my mom were we're just trying to, kind of taking the easier, softer way, so learn from all these guys just from seeing them do things their way, that it didn't work, and I didn't want to end up going to prison or going to jail, and I didn't want to end up in an institution, or you know losing my mind or anything. So I was like, man, like I started finding I found boxing, because they wouldn't let me on the football team because I got in too much trouble. I underage drinking tickets and possession of alcohol and
How old were you when you found
whatnot.
boxing?
17.
Wow.
Yeah.
Hey,
I just got out of inpatient treatment, a 30-day inpatient treatment at Plymouth Hazelden.
I can't fucking believe you made it this far, dude.
Yeah, it's crazy. Hey,
It
I lied to
Your story
everybody.
is crazy. Yeah.
I lied to everybody in that treatment center.
Yeah.
And I guess I didn't, but I lied to him at Hazelden, Plymouth, because I was like 16 or 17. I just overdosed. I was like, all those. They found a bunch of drugs in me when they brought me to the hospital. I blew a .45 when I got to the hospital, so it was probably higher, like. And my mom was like, "You're going to treatment." They brought me in there. I was there for 30 days. Um, and I told everybody that I boxed. I said, yeah, I'm a boxer. I do jiu-jitsu. Da, 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 da. I'm gonna be in the UFC one day. Just
And you were
watch.
just making that shit up?
I was making that shit up, but I knew that that's what I wanted to do, because I'd stay up all night watching fights in my mom's room while she was at work, when she did work.
When you
And
watch fights, do you sit down or do you stand up?
shit, I did a little bit of both. But
Yeah.
when I was younger, I'd watch boxing, and I grab little 2 pound weights,
Yeah.
and I liked Oscar De La Hoya, and I'd try and do the motion that they were doing,
Yeah.
and
Yep.
I'd pick who I thought was gonna win, and I would just imitate them, and I would just, I'd fantasize and dream about it and use my imagination to pretend like I was them and I was doing it.
Do you have any good friends, Blake? Do you have any good friends?
I got great friends.
Yeah. That's good to hear. And with
Thank
you,
God,
like,
man.
yeah, thank God for sure. Where? Like close to you? Like,
Yeah, so Flame is probably like one of my best friends, and he's also my boxing coach. I got him. I got my buddy Lou. Bunch of guys in the program, man. It's like probably the most solid guys that you could ever have on your side. Bunch of guys with stories like mine that have been through it and came out on the other side. And my buddy Ben back home, and a mentor of mine, Tom, man. Tom loved me back to life, man. He's like, he treats
Tom
me
loved
like
you
his
back to
own
life? Is
son.
that what you said? Tom loved you back
Yeah.
to life?
Yep.
Oh, that's a
Yep.
great line. Wow.
Because I had a bunch of legal troubles at 24, and I had just gotten my heart broken by this girl who was no good, man. But when you ain't up to no good, or when you're trying to do your best, and nothing's working, and you're just throwing things at the wall and none of it's sticking, and then somebody leaves you out to dry, like Tom came and he told me, like, hey, you know, this might be for you, might not be, but I got a little business, you can come help me out, make a little bit of money. He just want to get like a few $100 so I could spend Christmas with my mom back in 2014. And we ended up started working together. He did security cameras, and he taught me how to go give a cold call and go on a presentation, and Tom had a past too. Tom had been a prison. Tom did his time, but he learned from it and he moved forward. And me and him, I talked to him for hours the other day. Me, that's probably my best friend, man. That's that guy. That guy changed my life. That guy
Blake,
that guy really believed in me, man.
Blake, what happens to you from here? You have this crazy fight record. You have just an absolutely a past just full of potholes, right?
Yeah.
Like when you see forward, what do you see? Like, are you gonna make it? I mean, it's truly the
Yeah.
more and more I hear and think about it, I'm
Yeah.
like, how the
We're gonna
fuck does this guy have the discipline to have this insane fucking record? Um, and I
Yeah.
guess your training
But
is part of your medication, right? You're fit. I mean, it's like that for a lot of us, but for you, you're medicating yourself with fighting and fitness, right?
it's one of the prescriptions.
Yeah.
One of the prescriptions. It's like I think my faith carries a lot too. My faith in God.
I wanna
Um,
hear about that. How did you get that? Is like, is it real? Do you have to fake it? Like, how does that work?
Man, I think I'll tell you this, man. I used to run by the church and I'd see all these people smiling and happy and kissing each other and giving each other hugs, and they seem
Mm.
so happy. I'm like, man, what like I wish I could have something like that. Like I was supposed to go to a church group with my buddy when I was younger in middle school, and then like last minute his mom was like, hey, I think it's best, this is kind of like a small group, so it's probably best that just today you don't come. And I was like, man, like every time I'm trying to
Crazy that
learn,
you remember that. It's crazy you
I'll
remember
never
that moment,
forget.
right?
I'll
Yeah.
never forget because you know what, man? It's like we don't shoot our wounded, and if you're really a servant of God, you're here to help somebody out. And I was a little lost boy at the time in middle school, man, and I was, like man, I could go into more detail, but it was crazy, man. Like I tried committing suicide in the 8th grade, and I needed something. I needed something, and my they didn't know my household, and they didn't ask me about it. And then they said that I could come to this Bible study, and then shooed me away. And I never forgot that, man. And then there
You
was a
think it's
guy.
because they were like, "Hey, this motherfucker's too hood."
Yeah, yeah.
Instead of
Yep.
embracing you being like, "Hey, this guy needs our love." They were like,
100%.
"Ah, he's not dressed right. Oh, he
Yes.
swear." Oh, that
Yep.
is so crazy,
Yep.
dude.
Yep. It is 100% why.
Crazy.
It is 100%
Crazy.
why. Because I was a white boy that wore a do rag, because I thought I could get waves. Like I didn't know the difference. I didn't know the difference. I saw my mom's boyfriends, and my mom only dated black dudes, and ain't nothing wrong with that. She just didn't have the best pick. She just went after gangsters. Like all of them were like gangster affiliate.
Was her dad hard? How about your grandfather on that side? Was he
Her dad just didn't show her no love. Her dad didn't show her no love, and just told her that she was, just name called her and just told her that, basically if any guy showed you affection, you better stick by his side, because nobody likes a fat girl. She was a big girl her whole life. She battled with that, and that was her addiction. It was like trying to overcome the food, and so I come up, and she'd be, my mom was like bulimic, so I'd come up, and at like a specific time every night, like all her food would come up, and it was just normal, like it was.
you'd hear her in the bathroom throwing up?
Yeah, yeah, every single night. Yep.
Uh,
Yep.
um, how did you try killing yourself in the 8th grade? What did you do?
I swallowed. I swallowed a bunch of pills in the medicine cabinet.
Holy
Um,
shit, dude.
I swallowed 52 pills, and that's the first time I prayed to God. I was like, and it's because it was my dad was back, my mom was there, and like, I'd go tell my mom what I was gonna do, like, but it was like semi asking for like approval. I just be like, I'm like, yo, I'm going over to Dan's house, and she's like, no, you're not, and I'm like, all right, I'll see you later. And she's like, no, you're not going anywhere. I'm like, what are you talking about? And she's like, ask your dad. And I'm like, hey, can I go over to Dan's house? And he's like, no. I'm like, why? And they're like, because we said so. I'm like, all right, I'm gonna go. They're like, if you go, you ain't coming back in. And I'm like, oh, so now that he's here, now there's all these rules and regulations, and they're like, you're not going. And I don't know, man. I'd already felt that way. I would threaten it all the time, and I was like, all right, you know what? I was like, they want to be like that. I was like, I'll show them, and yeah, just went upstairs and just started.
What were the pills? Just like Tylenol or something?
Yeah, it was like a bunch of Tylenol and um I know it was around the first time that I ever drank, because there was no dose in there, like caffeine pills, and I took like four of those, and
Oh my
because
god.
this one girl had them so she could drink and then stay awake, and so that's how I know that was around the first time that I ever drank. So
Did you have
it
to go
was
to the
like
hospital from all those pills?
I should have, but my pride said like, don't tell nobody. So I swallowed them, sitting down at my kitchen table watching TV, and then like I started feeling like high, and then I started feeling sick,
Yeah.
and I started puking, and it was like violent, like something was severely wrong, and I was like, you know what?
That's when you started praying to God?
I pray to God. I go, hey God, I go, I don't know why I'm doing this, and I don't know what's going on, but I promise if you keep me alive, I'll do whatever you want me to do.
Mm.
I'll go to any lengths, any depths. I'll do whatever it is that you want me to do. I don't I know now that I don't want to die. I want to live, and I'm so sorry for doing this. But if you have a reason and a purpose for my life, I pray that you keep me alive. Please let me live.
Wow,
And
that's a lot for an 8th grader. Jeez.
yeah, yeah, and I went and I threw up as much as I could, and then I just laid down in my bed all night, not being able to sleep, just feeling sick, and I was like, and I was like, my older brother came and checked. He goes, "Are you all right?" And I was like, "Yeah, I'm good, I'm good." And he's like, "Are you sure?" And I'm like, "Yeah, yeah, I'm fine, I'm fine, I'm fine." And I thought I was just I thought I was just gonna close my eyes and like have that be it. And I was like, I should probably tell my mom and dad, but I didn't want them making a big deal about it. So I was like, if I die, if it's God's will for me to die, I die.
W Is your older brother still alive?
Yeah,
Is he in jail?
nah, he's a foster parent with my mom over in Georgia.
Me
Yeah, so he helps raise all these orphans,
Oh,
all
that's
these
cool as
kids. Yeah,
wow.
he's a good guy.
Wow.
Hmm.
Oh, that is awesome. And your little brother did commit suicide?
My little brother committed suicide. He hung himself
Oh
uh,
god.
by a cloth after in a trailer park.
Mm.
Yeah, it's crazy, man.
Yo,
This
where
Brandon right here. This
forever right
Brandon
there.
right
You
there.
so you see him every day, right, like that?
That's the first thing I look at.
What was his
Uh,
name?
I wake
What was
up.
his
I wake up and I look over. Braden.
Braden.
Braden. Yeah,
Y
Braden.
Where were you when that happened, Blake?
I was I was over in Lake Elsinore with my buddy Lou, and then we were out there late at his cousin's house, and I stayed over at his place. So um, I woke up next to my boy Lou, and I was getting a phone call from my mom, and yeah, and she told me the news. She's like, "Are you sitting down?" I was like, "Yeah." And uh, I thought she was gonna say my grandma, because my grandma hasn't been doing too good.
How did your mom take that? Fuck, I can't imagine losing a kid. Holy shit.
Dude,
Holy
she's
shit.
I don't know, man. It's like every day is a struggle, dude. You know, it's such a battle, man. Like, I think she does good sometimes, but it's up and down. Even for me, man. Like, this now is like the first time in a long time where I feel okay. Like, because once he died, a month later, right after I got done seeing his body at the morgue, I get home. I get back to my mom's house in Georgia, and they offer me the fight against Regivaldo Carvalho, uh, to defend the world title on the East Coast at the Hard Rock Hotel and Casino in New Jersey. Like, right as soon as I get done, I'm eating fucking KFC or Popeye's chicken and shit, and I'm like 180 pounds,
Wow.
fucking
Wow.
eating everything. I was drinking on my way over to go see my mom. Like, I don't even drink on a plane, like,
Yeah.
and I'm drinking on the way there, and yeah, it was. And I was like, you know what? I was like, this one light white light moments, or it's like, that's when I hear that loud whisper from God. It's just like, it's like, are you gonna sit around and mourn and mope around, or are you gonna get busy and do something that could help out your family and give them something good to look forward to after something so tragic? And I was like, it ain't good for me or anybody else to sit around and think about this all day. So I got busy. I got busy. I got active, and and you got to be a performer. So you throw on your big boy pants and get active and start promoting the fight and start getting sponsorships and uh, and 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 you just go, and
Hey, how are you gonna process how I guess time heals, but I guess just more shit can just keep happening and happening. It's just amazing how much success you've had, right? With all of this just storm around you. What do you think that guy that said you're running from something, what do you think he's saying? Like, what does that even mean when someone says that?
well,
Like,
I
what do you
later
how are you supposed to process all this shit?
I later found out, a guy, the guy that said that, battles the same things that
Oh,
me and many others face. It's like yeah, he's like, I feel like you're running from something. I was like, I don't know if I'm necessarily running from anything, but I feel like I'm running to something these days. And he's like, yeah, I feel that. I got my own path and this and that and da 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 da. Brother went to prison for murder. I'm like, yeah, makes sense. Yeah, like, you know, it like kind of takes one to know one. Real recognize real,
right.
or real sick recognize like a real sick. You can see it in each other. A lot of us bond over our trauma anyway. That's why a lot of us get along.
What about kids? Blake, do you have any aspirations to have kids?
Oh yeah, I'd love to have kids. I'd love to have kids one day. Obviously, I want to make sure that I'm in a good position and have the right woman and whatnot. But I would love to be a father. I think that's a life goal of mine. That'd be great.
Yeah. When your dad, I have 3 little kids. I had kids late. I have 2 6-year-olds and an 8-year-old.
Nice.
And I think when you have kids, you're gonna you're gonna be like, wow, I can't believe it. Well, everything's gonna change about how you see your dad, because like the
Yeah.
greatest thing as a man is the chance to raise other men. It's crazy. It's such a
Yeah.
fucking cool. But most dudes don't do it. Most people send their kids to
Yep.
school. They don't
Yep.
raise their kids. They don't do like, I mean, think about this. Your dad had other demons he was fighting, right? Going to jail, alcohol,
Yep.
restless, probably
Yep.
shitty upbringing. But
Yep.
there's other dudes who don't have that, and they still don't raise their kids. They just send their kids
I
off
know.
behind a fucking chain link fence 9 hours a day.
Yep.
I'm like, what?
Yep.
Like, and I get it. That's what society tells you you're supposed to do. But man, dude, if you get a chance to actually raise your kids and just take them everywhere with you, and man, it will be the most rewarding thing you could ever imagine in your life.
Yeah.
Is the UFC thing? Do you have to put all your eggs in that basket and just that's the dream? Like, hey, I got to get the championship fight. I got to get big sponsorships. I got to be bigger than life. Like, is that the pressure you put on yourself? Is that the way out?
Yeah. Yeah, of course. I think everybody does. Everybody wants to be the man. You want that notoriety, and you want to prove your worth as a fighter. You want to be like, I'm the best in the world, and I'll show you, and be able to tell your story, and it's like after the loss to Kyle Nelson, man, it's like phone was pretty quiet. You only got a few phone calls. You're not asked to go drive exotic cars. My mom and my grandma called, and my mentor, and there's a bunch of people that don't know me that hit me up and thought that it'd be a good idea to message me and tell me that I'm a piece of shit and that I'm a clown, and how I could fight better, and that I'll never make it to the top, and this and that, and
That's what you're just talking about. People in your DMs just bombing you.
oh yeah, just
Yeah.
flooded with that. And people are like, don't look at it, don't look at it. I'm like, yeah, well, you're trying not to, but anything you post, people go in and just start talking shit. It's just, it comes with the
We live,
territory, and
yeah.
people just, that's what they do now, and uh, you get, you just, you just take the good with the bad. I've been through so much that, it was like bothering me at first, and I was like, dude, I don't even know these motherfuckers. Like, who cares? It is what it is. So we dust off and move forward. None of that stuff bothers me anymore. So, um, nowadays, um, none of that stuff phases me. But it's all a learning lesson. You learn as you go. Sometimes you win, sometimes you don't, and it's like that. Even when I beat Shane Young, people were talking shit. So but this last one was a little bit different. Like I wasn't the winner anymore, so I couldn't talk about mental health, or I don't know, like you just feel down, and now I feel like everybody knows. People are talking shit. People that you know there's, I don't know. You just, when you haven't lost in 6 years and you've never lost an MMA fight,
Your
it's
story changed. Your story changed, and you're having to process it, right? Your story changed.
yeah. And you know what? You're not the undefeated fighter anymore. Um, yeah, your story changes, but it ended up being one of the greatest things that ever happened to me. I will say that.
Tell me
One of
why. Give me a couple of things. Give me something. Why do you say that?
because it helped me look at things different, like it's like like for example, like you think like if you don't win, like it's like all performance based, you know. Like you know, if I win, I get the love, and it's true. You win, you do get the love. You
Right.
win, you do get invited to do the podcast. You win, you do get a million calls. You win, you do have have everybody on your riding your coattail. You win, you get more sponsorships and more
Right.
features and more uh just more stuff.
Right.
Um and you lose, and it's kind of lonely.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
you're like,
Yeah.
damn, it's really quiet. You
And
know,
it makes
and
sense too. It's not like these people are assholes, right? A lot of people will be like,
no,
"Well, fuck
no,
those people. They're fair weather." It's like, nah, actually, people want to be around winners. You kind of can't blame them.
yeah, of course, yeah, and the vibe is different. You know, you just lost. It's like some people just don't know what to say to you.
Right.
You
Right.
know,
Right.
keep your head up, da 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 da. You know, but you know, it's like somebody fresh off a divorce. You know, it's like shit. Their heart's broken, dude. Like they just have to have time to process it.
Right.
They'll be back. They'll be back. You know, you just stay encouraging towards them. You know, and I don't think anybody was intentionally trying to be a jerk or anything. I just think some people are don't know what to say and they want to be helpful, but they don't know if you know, being encouraging is being helpful. So I think it's a
People will be like, "Oh, that guy's only friends with me for the money." Well,
yeah,
you have $20 million and you're flying people around in your private jet. Like, what do you like? What do you expect? Like, don't hate on those people. It's
yeah,
like
and
I'm
also
not
it's
saying
like
that you should use people and come fuck them over, but it's like, hey, I don't know. When I had more money as a kid, I paid for the movies and the arcade games. And then when I didn't have that money, I didn't. And I had more friends when I had the money for pay for the movies and hot dogs and arcade games. And I didn't
yeah,
hate on those people. People want to have fun. It's like, yeah, I
yeah,
get it. I ain't hating.
yeah,
I mean, don't
exactly.
stab me in my back, but like I get it. I'm not mad at the guy who gets a girlfriend
Yeah,
and just he vanishes for 6 months because it's seeing boobs for the first time in his life. Enjoy yourself, buddy. You know what I
yeah,
mean? Like, go have fun.
yeah.
I ain't hating.
Yeah, you know, it's like life is so different for everybody. You know, it's
Yeah.
like those people that didn't invite me to that church get together thing.
Yeah. That's a
Hit a
crazy
little bit.
story. What a moment.
Yeah,
That's some biblical shit. No pun
yeah,
intended.
and you know, it's like, does it make them bad Christians? It's like I don't think so. I don't think they knew the depth and weight of the situation and how it could have helped me.
Well,
And
how
I
about
think if
this? How about
people,
this, Blake? They're not even Christians at all.
well,
Not even that they're bad Christians. Like you didn't invite the kid to the church who needed to go. You're just kind of just not even really a
like
Christian.
what's going on here, what is happening, you know, the beautiful thing about in the program is like if somebody relapses or gets high again, you know, there's an old saying that we don't shoot our wounded. We don't shoot our wounded, and the people that come in, we welcome them with open arms. They're like, hey, you've been through the depths of hell. Come in, come join us, and maybe you'll hear something that you like, and maybe you'll be able to relate, and maybe you'll be able to ask for help. And one of these guys, with on their free time, not being paid to do this, don't have to do this, volunteering to do this, will take you through some simple steps, and you can transform your life. And that's, I mean, I've seen miracle after miracle after miracle, man. It's incredible. I'm one of them.
Blake, I'm a huge fan, dude. Thanks for coming on. What a cool thing to get to know someone who's been on your journey. You are like you're an amazing dude. I look forward to talking to you more and hearing more stories and hearing more details. You're cool as shit, dude. I'm
The
rooting for
feeling's
you big time.
mutual, man. And an hour and a half flew by like nothing.
Oh, good, good.
Yeah,
I'm up in
that was awesome.
I'm up in Northern California. I do come down there every once in a while. I just went down to Newport for 2 weeks, and my kids trained at AOJ, and then also I don't know if you're into skateboarding, but they trained over at Sheckler's private skateboarding park over there. So I do
That's
take my
insane.
kids around. Yeah. And what's funny is that it's funny that you had that experience with Cheeto, because I did see Cheeto out at a restaurant. I don't know, a couple months ago when I was visiting down there. I saw him and Luke and their coach. I forget their coach's name, but he's that famous dude. So it was kind of
Jason Perillo.
yeah, maybe that's who it was. Yeah.
That's Jason. Yeah. Yeah. AOJ is like 6 minutes from my house.
No shit.
Yeah. Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
And
I'm right
I
there.
was I was staying about a mile from there. You know where Dory's Deli is?
Yes. I know
Yeah.
exactly.
I was like 5 houses down from there, just staying right down there.
Nice.
Yeah. What a small world.
You're super close. Yeah. Yeah. Next time you come out, you shoot me a call and we'll get together and we'll link up.
Awesome.
We'll go grab some food or.
I'd love to I'd love to bring my boys to watch you train.
Yeah. Have them come out to the boxing gym.
Yeah.
And, with me and Flame or yeah, up to the jiu-jitsu gym at Triunfo, and
Cool.
we'll get after it. It'd be great.
Awesome. All right, brother. Have a great day. Thank you. You have my number. Text me if you ever need anything. You're ever up in Santa Cruz, and I'll do the same if I'm ever down that way. I will be down that way.
Awesome. I'm looking forward to it.
All right. Cheers, man.
All right. Cheers. Later.
Blake Bilder. Okay, settle down. What is this? Is something wrong with you? Listen, that was that guy was talking at a whole different cadence. Are you okay, Sevi? You seem a little off. Show you off. Can he rollerblade? Fair question. With new guests, I'm not sure if they understand the format of the show. I can't listen. But this is a really bad business decision, what I'm about to fucking tell you. I love $100. Thank you. I can't even fucking believe it when someone gives me $1, let alone $100. Matt Burns, crazy, right? But dude, last night's show has over 20. It's gonna have over 50,000 views once it goes to Spotify. You got to give me that $99 last night, so 25,000 people see it. I mean, thank you, as my mom would say. No. Sabbath Essentials, SABBATHA essentials.com. I wonder if I can do it on my first try. It's Sabbath. And Heidi. That ended up getting good, Heidi. Did you see how like I paced myself? And then eventually I was like, okay, I'm just gonna start interrupting him and seeing how that works. And it worked. He needed to be interrupted once in a while. That's it. But I was feeling him out the first 30 or 40 minutes. I know. But we got to some great shit, didn't we? What a fucking interesting character. Sabbath Essentials, pure, natural, small batch, bio-appropriate beauty care products created with love to give you Sabbath, your soul needs. I just picture Mrs. Burns bottling this stuff, like singing hymns and shit. Hymns? I don't know which one of these bottles it is, but my wife sprays some of the stuff on my boys. I don't know what it is. I think this is like hippie Christian shit. I think this is like stuff my sister would use. Like my nephews would get injured, and my wife would put hormone support products. My wife would put my sister would my nephews would get injured, and my wife would like shit that normal people take their kids to the hospital for. My sister would put like lavender under their ear or some shit. I think that's what this is. Like using products that Pfizer's terrified of you finding out actually work to heal you. Daily toner. Oh, maybe that's what she sprays on my kids. Use after daily cleanse. This toner is meant to cleanse the pores of any additional dirt that might still remain. Alcohol-free. Sabbath toners are formulated with frankincense. Yeah, I knew it. That's Christian shit, right? Willow bark extract, Tremelia infused MCT. Yeah, my wife and this is how my wife and my sister take care of people. Stuff like this. I'll hear my wife be like, open your mouth, put this behind your tongue, shit like that. Beautiful bottle. Great website. Congratulations. Anyway, thank you. I crazy. I appreciate it. Deion Sanders. No, I need to get back down here and beat someone's ass, Heidi's ass a little bit. What the fuck? Clock, the Roman show is rough. I'm still not sure what to make of it all. Rough. Dude, that show was amazing. That show was amazing. When he's talking Russian, do something else. Cut your fingernails. Clean your toenails. Take some work on your breathing. Count your breaths. I don't know. I don't think it was rough at all. I thought it was brilliant interviewing. Maybe tedious. I did like what Hiller said. It was underwhelming, but I thought it was 45 minutes of good shit. I loved that I gave the Lone Ranger and Tonto new nicknames. That was fucking good shit. I was so impressed by that. I was like, yeah, look at it. I just gave fucking Shawnee a nickname. He's now the Lone Ranger. That was fucking brilliant. And his sidekick Tonto. Amanda Stack, I think Roman came off sounding like a crybaby. I think he looks like a turtle. And I don't know if turtles cry. I want to see if Adler's coming on tonight. Let me see what the fuck's going on over here. Wow, ex-Wikipedia founder says site was hacked by U.S. intelligence. Holy shit. What was I doing just now? Oh, Adler, Jeffrey Adler. Let's see if Adler has anything to say. Add to the conversation. Would love to have short chat tonight if you're up for it. Over sparkling water. Over a sparkling water. Okay. Now back to Heidi. Are you okay, Sevi? Yeah, I'm good. Fuck. I'm good. I was just chilling. Just listening to the dude, just meeting a dude. I know it wasn't like he didn't have big old push-up titties, or we didn't just jump right into the suicide. I know yesterday we had to deal with the translator. I wasn't fed up with the chat. I wasn't even looking at the chat. Trish the dish. A dildo, the disappointed Armenian dad frown. You shut it. Take that dildo and just put it up some random dude's ass. Yeah, there we go. He's not even reading the chat. He didn't even mention Matt's donation, says Heidi Kroom, author of 2 children's books that can be found over at Amazon. Oh, that's a great question. Were you ever a child and what was it like? Yeah. No. The answer is no. Fuck, crazy, huh? Oh, Daniel, you scumbag. Daniel wants to bring up shopping carts, huh? I hope you drop that fucking cement ball on your toe. Here we go. Okay, now we're going to get more current in the chat. I've fucking stroked you guys enough. Here we go. Kyle Landis, you were Googling, do turtles cry? Good point. I don't even want to know what the fuck you were laughing at, David. Okay, Patrick Clark, finally. Someone who's going to add something of value. Dude, that might have been the best Roman interview ever, especially for as long as it was going through an interpreter. I've interviewed him twice, and this was better than that. Thank you. I appreciate it. I was fucking so happy. Thank you, Patrick. People were bringing their own shit to it. It's like being on a date with a girl, and all you want to do is get her top off, and you're just like, yo, chill. It'll be so much better once we chat with her a little bit before we see the boobies. Like, just chill. Everyone chill. I thought it was good too. We learned about his foot. We learned about Rogue. People got new nicknames on the show. It was a great show. Okay, here we go. Fucking clock. Funny. Greg mentioned your name and Eaton Beaver's name a couple days ago. He thinks your names are hilarious. Dude, it was rough for 2 reasons. 1, Roman just went on and on in Russian. 2, and when it was finally translated, we didn't get any all that clear from Roman about what he was doing. Well, fuck, I can't argue that. I don't think it was rough, but everything you're saying is also accurate. I don't know. I mean, that's a draw. You don't win and I don't win. Round 3 between me and you, Clock, for the victory. That one I'll give it a draw. You're right. You're right. Can't you like have like a Rubik's Cube or when he's talking in Russian, just be staring at your Travis Bagent, you're a Wad Zombie, Colton Mertens card, and just like looking at his crotch and be like, can I see a bulge in there? What do I see? I mean, can't you know what I mean? Like, he's talking Russian. Like, we got it. We're chilling. And anyway, at the end of the day, who cares? The numbers were fucking crazy on that show. Absolutely nuts. Higher than the Mal O'Brien show. Not when she was on, but when we talked about her. What did she do? She did something that made for a big show. Oh, she pulled out of the games. I liked what Hiller was doing. He had his phone up to the audio and was translating, right? That was kind of cool. Like trying to figure out the translation shit. How about the fact that guy lives a few minutes from Newport? Sarah keeps saying I should move down there and I could be getting all sorts of these people live in my studio, and she's right? I mean, that dude could have just come down. If I'd lived down there, he could have just come down into the studio. John David Taylor, is it only about the numbers? You passive-aggressive D-bag. That's like asking me if you can tell how successful an airline is by how much fuel it uses. All we have to do is go out into the fuel yard and start burning fuel. You know it's not just all about the numbers, you dickhead. That's not a way you talk to a friend. Are you friends with me or not? Sevan, I think we need Caroline from the chat on the show. I know. Wouldn't that be cool? She seems pretty cool. But here's the problem. It only gets worse as you meet people. You don't want to meet anyone. Very rarely does it get better. Like no one met me at the games and was like, "Oh my God, he's so much cooler in person. He's so much taller in person." No, it would only got like, "Oh, he's so much younger looking in person." Nope. I'm not younger looking in person. I'm not taller. I'm not nicer. I'm not, I smell worse. Yeah, see, look, she knows. Yeah, I'd fuck it up. I mean, look how sweet. Look at her shirt. She has her hands behind her back. She's all like, she's adorable. Yeah, you don't want to, yeah, Sean Lenderman, I'm way cooler on the internet for sure. Yeah, me too. There's nothing cool about me in person. Okay, round 3, me and Clock. Clock says, chat carried the show last night. No. Not true. Not true. I carried the show. Well, it's not just, I measure it. I'm excited about the numbers. It's funny. I like the numbers. I like it that this show has 100. Well, I also like this because YouTube's clearly trying to throttle me back. I don't know if you guys know what impressions are, but for those of you who don't understand what impressions are, I'll explain it once like this. When you go to YouTube, you go to your homepage, and you know how there's like a bunch of shit over here they're saying think you should watch, and then there's a bunch of shit running down the side they think you should watch. Those are impressions. right? It's not like TV where you're like, okay, these are my 15 channels. This is what I should watch. It's just a smattering of shit that flies up onto your YouTube, right? Onto your YouTube screen. And then you get to choose what you want to watch. Each one of those things is called an impression. And all of us creators on YouTube it's not like a channel. We don't get to stay up there. We want YouTube to give us impressions on other people's pages so that we can be put in front of an audience, right? Because that's why we're making shit, right? Well, the impressions on my YouTube channel, the Sevan Podcast, dropped by 4/5 from August 1st to August 30th. So, so it's like going from 100,000 impressions to 20,000 impressions. Oh, I am who mailed. Yeah, I figured it out. I'm who emailed about Marshall Davis. Yeah, I'll try to get Marshall on. I responded to the email. I don't know if you saw that. I like the KDB. Oh, congratulations. If you want to get rid of that belly, you can get on Ozempic. The translator should have kept the conversation on track better. Katie, I thought she did a great job. Like, people in the comment, that's the thing too. She's not just a translator. Someone in the YouTube comment said, hey, the translator should keep her feelings to herself. I don't agree. She's part of the story. She's been with him like for 4 years. Sometimes I think other people shouldn't bring so much of their shit. I know. I was joking. That was a joke. Thank you though, Jake. I don't know. I do know. I do know, actually. I'm okay with the commentator. I'm gonna pull up some of these comments. There's some dildos. Holy shit, now there's 71 comments. My God. What is this? How do I newest first? Yeah, it's pretty good balanced. It's pretty good balanced. Some of this seems petty. Roman is fine with trash talking in a banter way. Perhaps next time you use a timer, 30 minutes, then translate before continuing. Adler's strategy didn't work. It was just weird. Lone Ranger and Tonto, brilliant. Is Hiller popping some of the Mrs. Meds? I thought Hiller seemed fine yesterday. I don't think Jeff had bad intentions. Oh, Katie Gannon. I get it. If he retaliates, he's an asshole. I don't think he's complaining as much as sharing both sides and asking for fair expectations. Yeah. Actually, these comments are pretty good. Oh, here it is. The translator needs to translate, not give her opinions. Yeah, I don't agree. Because she's not just a translator. I really like Roman's demeanor. Seems to be a cool guy all around, a great athlete. Great interview. Andrew's facial expressions make it. Rosa, heart, Roman, yay. Someone to resume, please. I don't know what that means. Russians being very Russian. I love how we're having an opportunity to hear from Roman. Oh, yeah, this is good. Oh, this could have been a 5-minute interview, but I guess that doesn't make ad revenue. Fuck off. Also, nice to see Sevan still making creepy, unnecessary comments to women. Go fuck yourself. It takes me back to the old behind the scenes of the CrossFit Games. Douchebag. Caller, hi.
Good morning, Mr. Matosian. It's Olson Dude, Master Matt Olson. How you doing,
Hey, hi. Good. Just
okay.
Reading YouTube
Wrapping
comments.
up. I know you're wrapping up.
Okay.
Wrapping up. I know you're wrapping up. I want to jump in real quick on I just listened to about an hour of the podcast, Roman.
Okay.
Here's a perspective from a father.
Okay.
From a leader. From someone who understands not at that high level of competition because I'm not there, right? We don't know what it's like to be the 0.1% of anything. But when Roman is explaining something in translation, I think as Americans, we have this pride about who we are. And by the way, I served, I love this country so much, but I think he really enjoys being here and being in the culture of CrossFit. And that's what's embodied so much of this sport, which is a community and a sport. It's like it's a big mix. So for me, I really respected what he said. And everybody, I saw your Roman's rant and I'm like, oh, what happened? I don't even know what happened. But here's what I would say. Everybody has a perspective. Everybody has a voice online. And he expresses himself and everybody just jumps on him. I don't understand this, aggression towards, oh, he's a sore loser or he's a bad sportsman. He just expressed himself. He didn't even have anger when he was talking to you. He had a smile on his face the whole time.
Word.
Having this conversation, just being blasted. So That's my 2 cents. I thought you did a great job. Why I heard other people just say, oh man, this rant, it makes him look bad. I don't think it made him look bad. Anybody who really listens to what you had an open conversation, a long dialogue conversation from a post that if you read it for 30 seconds, it's you take a perspective on it. So great job. Appreciate your work.
Do you think he does look like a turtle out of a shell?
Listen, if there ever was a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle that I would look like, it's Roman Prenatal. He's a good dude. I'm so pumped for his future. I'm a Roman fan. And even what he said about the athletes, the adapted athletes, take that into consideration. Like
that was completely over my head. Listen, that part was completely over my head.
I know.
Listen, I like to look at adaptive athletes because it's fucking just bizarre. The same reason so I'm not like,
I get it.
Yeah. So it's like a circus trick to me. Yeah.
I know. And you know what's crazy is I respect that opinion. Yeah. And that's what I love about your podcast.
Thank you.
Perspective. Have a blessed day, brother.
Okay. Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye. I don't know. But I thought that was a PR move. I don't know. I can't relate to that. I'm not gonna watch Stacey Akery if he has fucking both forearms. Sorry, I'm not. I'm not. That dude Thor, that strongman dude. I'm not. If he wasn't 8'12", I'm not interested in watching him. Like, I'm just not. I want to watch like just shit that I can't kind of get my head wrapped around. I like interesting shit. It's why more people want to look at the tallest mountain in the world than a hill. I think it's perfect. I don't know. I couldn't relate to that. It didn't get any points with me. I saw Jedediah Snelson. I reposted something Jedediah put up. Jedediah would like that part too. God, I hope I don't have to like lose a leg or something to learn a lesson here and be like, oh yeah, I get it. That would suck. Oh my God, Dream Rare and Vivek. I do have some thoughts about that. Do you want to hear what they are? You ready, Eric? So great interview. Much love to both of them. Vivek was amazing. Dream Rare was amazing. Here's the part I did not like. And I'm going to try to get Dream Rare on to ask him. But if I say to you, hey, I saw you climb up into my wife's, or I saw you climb up into my girlfriend's bedroom window the other night. Are you fucking her? Because that's what Dream Rare was doing, right? He would be like, hey, Vivek, I saw you climb up into my girlfriend's window the other night. Are you fucking her? And Vivek would say, you damn well know that your girlfriend wasn't home because she was out with you. And you know that the only way to get to my girlfriend's room is through your girlfriend's room because they're sisters. So I had to climb up through her window to get to her sister's room. And that's what I was doing. And I've been doing that for years. And you know that. And then Dream Rare would just go to the next question. And I just didn't like that. I didn't feel like Dream Rare did enough of like, good point. Like he just quickly moved on to the next thing. I felt like Vivek was responding, and that in the dialogue that makes us humans and gives civility to the conversation, you need to, when you're trying to checkmate someone and they like I just did with Clock. So when someone tries to checkmate you and and they don't, in a conversation, you start to show, if you don't acknowledge that, then you start to show your angle that really all you're trying to do is checkmate them. And it's like, I felt like Dream Rare was really running the line of wanting to play checkmate with them versus just searching for the truth. And there is a distinction. And that was the only part. But fuck, I thought they were both amazing. I give them both a 10. I can't keep up with Vivek. He's all over the place. I guess that's good. I'm going to get Dream Rare on, if that's who you're talking about. No, I don't think so. Sean Lenderman, Vivek is big pharma, snake in the grass. He owns a pharmaceutical company, and people are seriously like, here's our hero. Hey, check out the interview with Dream Rare. They get into it. Yeah, that's true. He was very leading, very limited time. Vivek's team gave him hard cutoff time, and he was rushing. Yeah, that's fair, and that's why you got to give Dream Rare. What you're saying is he didn't have time for those nuances of social conduct or salutations, or yeah, I think you're right. You're probably more right. I'm sensitive to that. I'd vote for Vivek if I didn't live in California. Dude, he's going to run for president. You can vote for him. Thank you, Mr. Vise. Yeah, I'm the only two people I can see voting for right now are Trump or Vivek. Those are the only two. I think Nikki Haley's the fucking wackadoodle, just a politician avoiding answering questions. Same with Pence. Biden's semi-retarded. RFK, I would vote for him. But I mean, he's still a fucking climate psycho. He doesn't follow the science. He's not grounded in reality. I'm trying to think, are there any other Democrats running that are good? Definitely not Gavin Newsom. Anyone who's hurting kids, openly hurting kids, I cannot get my vote. I don't think Trump's a piece of shit. I'm not like, hey, I'm voting for Trump because they're all pieces of shit. I don't think that. I really liked Vivek's stand, his explanation of how there's different modes human beings have when you're in your self-interest mode versus service mode. And when you have someone who's in office for fucking 20 years, they start getting their self-interest conflated with their service. And that's why you get the corrupt shit like the Bidens. Cave Dastro, Vivek is either a great candidate or the greatest actor of all time. Mike Poolboy, California votes for me thanks to the insane ass electoral college system. If the thing is, one of the ways to think of it is if you see, it's kind of this easy. If you see a man molesting a child and another man yelling at the child, yelling at the man to stop. Hey, so you see one man molesting a kid and then another man over here yelling at him, stop, stop, stop. And you have one bullet in your gun. And someone's like, hey, you have to choose one to shoot. You shoot the guy who's molesting the child. That's basically how I view, in the most simplistic sense, that's how I kind of view what's going on in this country right now. We have a whole fucking group of people who are fucking hurting kids, who are not making choices in the best interest of kids. And then we have some people over here being like, yo, what's up? Stop that shit. And I'm not talking to the extreme of like kidnappings and all the wild shit that people say is going on. I'm just talking about like the most basic stuff of like having pornography in the libraries, letting the state take anyone who thinks it's even remotely okay for the state to take your kid away and simultaneously put them through a sex change. This is like out of some weird movie. I'm texting. Eric Utley, I've never even heard of Vivek until this year. Like he appeared out of nowhere and is saying what everyone wants to hear. I don't know if he's just saying, he's the only one saying anything. It doesn't even matter if it's what you want to hear. He's the only one who's saying anything. What do you think about climate change? And he's like, it's a hoax and it's a wet blanket on the economy. And fucking the other candidates are like, we need clean water and clean air. That's like, doesn't say anything. You're not saying anything. You've not expressed. There's no one who doesn't agree with you that we want clean water and clean air. I'm not looking for someone to just fucking give me this dumbass statement to that's the lowest common denominator. I don't have an issue with the fact that Vivek believes in God and that thinks God is important. I love that. I know that there's no such thing as the fucking United States of America, and yet I'm more than willing to play in the delusion of it making it a reality if it means making a better place for us to live. It's the same as the red light thing I talk about all the time. I know red doesn't mean stop. I'm more than happy to accommodate that so that we can all use the roads at the same time. I get it. So we don't have accidents. I'm fine with the God thing. I'm fine with the United States thing. I can totally fake both of those things perfectly. I'll even probably end up believing some of that shit. Country first, God first, so that my family has a fucking healthy and safe place to live. And for those people who can't distinguish between reality and non-reality, that means they're fucking crazy, right? Those people who actually think money actually has value. Or that they don't understand the difference between gravity and the phenomenon of gravity. That's okay, good. I hope I need to keep those idiots also who don't know the difference between their inside thoughts and the outside world. I need to keep them in a certain safe place too. And so if that means keep making them proud to be Americans and believe in God, fuck, more power to me. You're in the everything is a social construct camp? No, not everything. My apple tree is not a fucking social construct. My apple tree is like, it's there. You can come over and have one. No, you can't. But I'm telling you, it's here. Thank you. There's just actually things we created. USA is land on the side of the imaginary things. By created, you mean imaginary. Like creating a house is not imaginary. But I like that. I'm good with that. USA is land on the side of the planet. I don't know if it's on the side. It's all sides. All the planet has its sides. But I'm with you. USA is on the planet that we currently call by the name of United States of America. Yeah. There you go. That's it. And if some other people want to believe it's like real as fuck and we need to defend it and blah, good. I'm with those people. Let's go. McConnell's such a trip, right, Clock? Mitch McConnell, I want to show my kids some video of him and see how they process him. He's like a fucking Halloween character. I swear to God, he should be at the haunted house. A woman is a word that signifies a creature that walks the planet that has tits and a vagina. It smells like honey and has no interest in me. That's a woman. Yeah, it looks like he's melting. Mitch McConnell's a trip. What a fucking trip. Yeah, that's a great. It looks like he's melting. He is a trip. An adult human female. I like that for woman. Yeah. And then that's like she got like fallopian tubes and a vagina. What about the 0.00000000001% that doesn't have fallopian tubes? I don't know. What about a woman when she has her fallopian tubes taken out of her? She's still a woman? I don't know. I'm not worried about that. New card is up for Wad Zombie. The fuck is going on over here? How come I didn't get one? It said, by the way, the website is Mint Trading Cards, MINT Trading Cards. And I'm going to the trading cards now. Oh, shit. Look at that. Oh, I was listening to the Lone Ranger and Tonto show yesterday, and they said that James Sprague got engaged. Too young, James. Too young, James. Too young. I'm telling you. Sprague is such a vibrant figure and has been in the fight for a while. It may surprise some to realize 2023 will be his rookie appearance as an individual at the CrossFit Games. He has Teenage Games finishes, a 4th, 5th to his name, and came as close as anyone can to come to qualifying in 2020, 2022. My CD was skipping. If you get these cards, you don't want this stand. You want the stand that I have Alexis Raptis in. Look at. You want this stand. Can you guys hear my mouth? See this stand? You want this stand. And then it's so nice. Wad Zombie, send me 20 of these, or give me a link on Amazon where I can get 20 of these. I need for all my cards. Because I don't even use my stands. I just have my cards down on my table now. Anyway. I wonder the Lone Ranger and Tonto. I wonder how I watched their show. I mean, I've been watching the show a lot lately, but I watched their show yesterday on Roman to see what was going on. Yeah, even their show got a lot of views, 4,000. Wow, David Weed commented, Roman is a fucking crybaby. Jeez Louise. That's rough. All right. Jorge Fernandez had to reschedule. Alexis Rapt is rescheduled. What a fucking tomorrow we have Jorge Ventura at 8 a.m. So from 7 to 8, it'll just be us. Then we have Jorge Ventura. Oh, and I guess we won't have him long because I got to take the boys skateboarding tomorrow. And then on Friday, it looks like we have Pamela Gagnon. That's the gymnastics guru, the master of gymnastics from Mayhem. No one Saturday, no one Sunday. Oh, Athena Perez on Sunday. Oh, that's what I need to tell you guys about. September 30th at Craig Howard's gym, Scale Nation will be doing a seminar. Like we don't have enough people scheduled. I'm getting anxious about it. Attend a seminar. Oh, there it is. Okay. I'll be here at this event, filming this event. Diablo CrossFit, Pleasant Hill, California, San Francisco. Then it looks like they're going to Brazil. Then it looks like they're going to, 2 in Brazil. then to Oklahoma. Anyway, this one's going to be cool. This is a pretty infamous gym in the CrossFit space. Diablo's been around a long time. I bet you it's now one of the top 100 gyms, original gyms in the world. Craig Howard will be there. Big gym. I think they have like 600 members. Athena will be there. She'll be teaching this course, which is to work with large-bodied athletes. And I'll be there. Susie will be there. I don't know who else will be there. Amy West will be there. For those of you who are aware of that health space in CrossFit, she's a pretty big name in that space. She'll be there. Yeah, it's going to be cool. I'm really excited. And I don't get out of the house much either. By out of the house, I mean out of my town. So it's like 70 miles up the road from me. So I'm pretty stoked. Audrey, Pamela is my hero. Well, then you're going to love Friday's show. Or not like it. She's going to let you down. You're going to be like, oh, she didn't talk so good. Or you're going to be like, man, she's brilliant. Oh, shit. Philip Kelly might be there. Don't tell anyone. Yeah, Philip is actually probably close to the same distance from Diablo further north than I am. So that would be like a meeting ground in the middle. That'd be cool. Yeah, it's going to be cool. I bet you will be there. That'll be nice to see you again. All right. That's it. Talk to you guys soon. Thanks for hanging in there today. Great conversation. Clock, thank you. Carolyn, thank you. Pool boy, Jake Chapman. Tonto gets off his horse and listens at the floor. He says, Buffalo, come. Lone Ranger says, wow, that's amazing. Can you hear them? How do you know? Tonto says, ear stuck to ground. I don't get it. I just know the Lone Ranger loves wearing a mask. He loves that Uncle Joe, Grandpa Joe is having us wear masks again. He loves it. I got a great live call-in show queued up too. I don't know when we're going to do it, but soon. All right. Talk to you guys soon.